Hello, welcome to the Cinema Savvy Movie Podcast, the channel for film reviews, discussions, and everything in between. I'm Chris Garner, joined as always with my co-host George Aldridge, and on today's show we've got a Star Wars Force Friday special lined up. Really looking forward to this one actually. It's going to be a lot of fun because, talking Star Wars is something that we love to do, both on air and off air, so we should have a good discussion lined up for today's show. Later on in the show we've got a special Star Wars themed film fights as well as our recommended movie segment, but first, as always, we'll run down the week in movie news. Quite a bit of news to get through this week, a lot of Star Wars news as well, so let's jump right into it. So George, what do we got first?
The first thing is that Danny Boyle's confirmed that the next film he'll be making is Trainspotting 2, and then he's been quoted as saying at the premiere of Jobs, the script is fantastic. They've been on to say that all four actors want to do it. The only minor thing he said was because a few of them work on US TV series, it's about getting the schedules together, but to me that's 99% it's going to happen in the next year of filming, so it'll be interesting to see, because I like Trainspotting. I've never read the book, haven't read the sequel to the book, so I wonder what they'll do, but if all the actors and director are up for it, then that's going to be good for me.
Yeah, Trainspotting's actually a film I haven't got around to seeing yet. It's always high up on the list of ones I need to get round to. I believe it's Ewan McGregor, isn't it? And I don't know if it's struggle with drugs or something like that. I know there's a scene, like an infamous scene from it, where he sees like a dead baby on the ceiling or something like that. But it's a film I don't really know a whole lot about. So, but I mean, if the script's good, if the story's good, and it's the same director coming back, and he's got a vision for it, and he thinks that it's worth doing a sequel for, then I'm all for it in that case. I don't know if it's a film, as I said, I haven't seen it. I don't know if it's a film that initially demands a sequel. I think it's quite an older film, isn't it? I don't know if it came out in the early 90s or when it quite came out, but I think it's going quite a way back since the first one came out.
Yeah, I think it might have been 96 or 5. What it is, obviously I haven't read the books, but I'm sure I've heard before. I think someone said the book is set years and years, or the second one after the first one. So whether or not it's one of them where it's like almost like a Star Wars coincidence that 20 years later something happens, we don't know. But it'll be interesting to go back to them. I know I haven't seen it, but it's one of them films where a lot of people hype up and it put Ewan McGregor on the map, stuff like that. But it's just one of them. It's very, very British. So I'm surprised the Americans liked it, but they did, which is great.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm trying to think now. I can't remember the last film I saw Ewan McGregor actually in, so it'll be nice to see him sort of get another movie role. And I know that Trainspotting always has a big fan base, so I'm sure that the sequel will do well and continue it. I didn't actually know they were based on a series of books or whatever. So I mean, if it's got that as the story that it's following, then I'm sure it'll turn out fine as well. And then our next bit of news, Brad Bird has clarified that there will be no Iron Giant sequel. Apparently Vin Diesel started some rumours that one might have been happening, but as I said, like the director Brad Birds came out and said that one isn't happening. This isn't really surprising to me. We did a review on Iron Giant. We both really enjoy it, and I think it's definitely got a cult following now. But I mean, it's been years and years after the fact. Animation films have definitely changed since then, so I don't know whether it'd be a case that they do it all in sort of computer animation now rather than 2D. And to be honest, even though people like the original, I don't think there's a massive outcry for a sequel, to be honest. The film itself is very self-contained. There's a little bit at the end, sort of like the end scene, where it could go on to another one, but I think as it is, the film completely stands on its own. And I just think because it didn't do well at the box office, and I know that I don't know if it is happening or if there are rumours that it's getting a Blu-ray re-release sometime soon, a 2-disc special edition, something like that. Maybe they were hoping that would kickstart more interest in it to get a sequel made, but I just don't think it's going to happen, and now Brad Bird's clarified that.
Yeah, I think with this, because it's getting the Blu-ray re-release, however, it's being released at cinemas later on in the year. I think someone said with an extended clip or something like that, some like master edition type thing.
Yeah.
And basically, Vin Diesel shared the trailer to on Facebook, and then I can't remember what exactly he put, but it was almost like, there could be some more coming with wink face, and then Brad Bird straight away was like, no, he's just joking with all you lot, there is no sequel. And that's fair enough because it didn't do great at the box office, but I think the fans of it, everyone wants a Blu-ray release. I said in the review I'd like one. It's got potential where it's a very cool film, but I don't think a sequel would work. Especially right with the sort of modern animation techniques, it'd be bizarre to see it as the 3D animation. But they just leave it as it's like a perfect film on its own. But if you just make sure we get the Blu-ray out and the re-release at most cinemas, then it'll be good to go.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't follow Vin Diesel on Twitter or social media or anything like that, but it strikes me as like what you just said there. It's something that The Rock would do, perhaps, just because I think they're very sort of aware of social media and the fan base of that and generating hype. That if you drop like a little hint like that, it's going to get people talking, and it has got people talking. I think that's exactly what he was trying to do. I mean, it is a bit out of order saying that, oh yeah, a sequel might happen and get people's hopes up when there's no official confirmation or anything like that. But maybe it was sort of a marketing technique just from him to get people interested and try and get more people to go and see the re-release, buy the Blu-ray, all that stuff. So I think that plays a big part in why he did it as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think with his, you look at the Fast Seven, all that money, and they probably all got him on Facebook. So I know if he drops it, that might make it 10 mil. But it's one of them, just leave it be.
Yeah, definitely. And our next bit of news, we're going to Marvel now. I think you may know more about this one. I only heard rumours about it. It's about Kevin Feige with Disney and Marvel, and I think the studios had sort of rearranged, and Kevin Feige's now got a new position or creative freedom. So if you want to go more into this one and explain it a bit better than I can.
Yeah, what's happened is for years Kevin Feige, although we see him as the guy he's creating the world, he doesn't obviously finance it. He's not the CEO of Marvel Studios. And it's come out this week that there's been some massive changes. Kevin Feige now has complete creative freedom. Uh, the former Marvel Studios CEO Ike Perlmutter, his name is. Kevin Feige no longer has to speak to him at all about any decisions. Kevin Feige now goes straight up to the CEO of Disney.
Mm.
Sorry, not Disney. The CEO of the Disney movie studios.
Yeah.
So reports to him what it was. Over the years, there's been a lot of sort of history of them clashing. One of the famous types was the recasting of War Machine. I've forgotten his name. Anyway, so he was told to get more money. He was offered slightly more. Obviously, because Robert Downey Jr. got a ton more, it was more or less this Ike Perlmutter guy kicked off, said no, you're gone. We'll get someone new. So that was a 50-50. I think everyone knew that, but it's now coming out that he's been doing a lot of stuff over the year. He tried to sack Robert Downey Jr. off one of the recent films because he wanted another pay rise.
Mm.
And what he's been doing, he was telling Kevin Feige during production of Civil War that you're gonna have to cut these action scenes or stuff like that because the cast is too big. I don't want to spend more money on it. Obviously, to Kevin Feige, this is massive. This is the one Marvel film you probably can't cock up even more than Infinity War because I think everyone's eyes are on how this turns out, and this is going to set the tone for the next 10 years. Kevin Feige's threatened to quit, so obviously Disney Studios have got involved, and they've told Feige that he now reports to him. There is no creative committee.
Mm.
He does what he wants, whenever he wants, and I think that's fair enough. I mean, without Feige, this universe it could exist, but I'm 200% sure that it wouldn't be as successful as such. But it's just interesting. We don't really see the sort of background stuff anymore. But the fact that clearly the Disney Studios have got a lot of faith in him, and this Ike guy just seems like a bit of a knob, bit greedy to be fair. I mean, the way I see it, if Civil War's 250 mil, they need an extra 20 more. They should give it them because that's going to make $1 billion minimum. They're not making losses off it.
Yeah, and but it all comes down to money, doesn't it? They are a company after all. But now you've said that, and we don't know how long this clash has been going on for. We assume it's been quite a while. As you said, it was dates all the way back to like when Terrence Howard was replaced with Don Cheadle, stuff like that. So I think that this has definitely been brewing for a while. But it's also made me now quite wary of what Civil War is going to turn out like. I mean, if they've purposefully cut action scenes from it to streamline it down just to like because they don't want to spend more money on it, then what is the film going to turn out like? I mean, as they said, like the amount of cast members in that film, and they're all big names as well, so definitely a lot of money's going to be going out to them, stuff like that. I'm assuming that Robert Downey Jr. Still has that in his contract about that certain percentage. I bet Disney really regrets the day they made that deal. But as I said, like when Iron Man 1 came out, it was still early days. I don't think Marvel Studios had like formed their actual studio yet. I think it was Paramount, I believe, did Iron Man and the first Incredible Hulk film. Um, but yes, so that's made me kind of wary about Civil War now, and it was a film I was really looking forward to. So if they've kind of nerfed that down, then it's going to really, really harm the final product. And I think that I know that Marvel aren't going to lose money anytime soon. I mean, come on, like Avengers made, was it like 1.3, 1.5 billion overall? I think it was
Yeah,
1.3, wasn't it? But even so, I think they still saw that as somewhat of a failure. They were expecting more. Usually, with a sequel, once hype's been generated from the first one, it ramps up into the sequel, and I think it really underperformed. And I don't think people went to see it as many times on repeat viewings as they intended. I think they need that next big one. Obviously, they've had Ant-Man as well, but that was a smaller scale film. We knew that wasn't going to do as well as the other Marvel properties. But if they have harmed this product that they're going to put out in April, then I think it might be not a dud, but I don't think it will be as well received as they intended it to. Which I think, as you said, a lot's riding on this film, probably more so than Infinity War. Infinity War's just the end, and everyone's going to go and see it anyway. This is almost sort of Avengers 2.5, and is going to bridge the gap between 2 and the finale. So if they've messed that up, then they've made a huge misstep in this series.
yeah. I think, although this report's come out in the past week, I reckon this might have happened months ago because although they're saying he was told to cut scenes, I've got a feeling that they didn't. I reckon Feige would have gone straight to that Disney Studios guy. I mean, I don't know. They might have cut scenes for all we know, but this also come out that apparently this Ike guy is the reason why there was so little black. If you look on the merchandise and stuff like that, apparently there's always little Black Widow. Apparently he's been the guy that's been opposing the women's superhero film. Obviously they announced Captain Marvel, but to me he just seems like this kind of deluded old bloke on the board, like Donald Trump or something.
Mm.
But if he's gonna go and they give Feige, hopefully it means it's going to be better, but then it runs the risk of, does one man have too much power? Because if he's
Mm.
got rid of a whole creative committee to run it himself, that's a lot like the Emperor getting rid of the Senate.
Yeah, definitely. And now we've like sort of said this and brought this to light a bit more. I'm wondering if that there's probably loads of reasons for this and like contributing factors, but I'm wondering if that's why Avengers 2 was so stripped down and a lot was removed. As we said, like Joss Whedon, he's sort of on really, really bad terms with Marvel now. He's left. He's not coming back. I think he had a lot of pressure on him from the studio during Avengers 2, and definitely with that movie, although it was almost pushing, like I think it was almost like 3 hours or something, wasn't it? It was like 2 hours 40 or something. It was a really long movie, but I think a lot did get cut. A lot of character stuff was removed from the film, which I think would have enhanced it. So that's making me wonder now if this guy had some sort of creative say in that, in stripping the film down and making it as basic as possible.
Yeah, I mean, if you there's a although Marvel's great to a lot of people, there's a lot of actors, directors that you said, I've got my contract, I'm not coming back. So you've always got to wonder how much has this got to do with the guys pulling the strings, or is it Feige, or is it just the company? But it's going to be very interesting seeing Civil War now, especially with all this behind the scenes stuff going on.
As I say, it has made me worried, but I'm going to keep an open mind. I'm sure the trailer's going to come out, and I have faith in the Russo brothers anyway. And clearly, they've had, like studio control during Winter Soldier, and that still turned out fine. So I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, and I'll wait and see what it's like. But it has made me slightly wary of it. And then moving on, we've got a little bit more sort of Marvel news here. Chris Evans, who of course plays Captain America, when he was asked about if he's going to extend his contract with Marvel for future films, he said, "If Marvel want me, they've got me." This basically says to me that this is giving me a lot of money. So if they want me, I'll keep coming back so I can get a paycheck. But what has confused me here slightly is that a while back he said that he wanted to leave, he wanted to move on, he wanted to move away from acting and get into directing, probably like following sort of like Ben Affleck's footsteps or something like that. And it seemed like he was really passionate about getting into directing. It was like, I've done this Marvel thing for long enough, I've done this acting job for quite a while, I want to move on to something new, I want to take my career to the next level. But here now, it sounds like, okay, well, if he signs another contract with Marvel, and I'm assuming these contracts sort of, I'm guessing it'd be like a sort of wrestling contract, wouldn't it? Like they keep them for a certain amount of matches. With this, they keep them for a certain amount of films. I think Samuel Jackson was on like it was either a 6 or 9 picture deal, I think, when he first signed the contract, and that counts for like any appearance in any film that he shows up in. So, I mean, Chris Evans is great as Captain America. I'd like to see him keep coming back. It would add that continuity. It would keep the character going, but not to spoil anything, and I don't really know all that much about the comic book myself, but I believe in either Civil War or Infinity War, this incarnation of Captain America, anyway, sort of bites the dust and Bucky takes over, and how we saw at the end of Avengers 2 how we had like a sort of second wave of the Avengers that they're very much going to set up once all the main cast, once all the actors are done, once they move on to like the second wave and the second generation of these Marvel films, if they carry it on that far. I think that switching to Bucky would be the logical step. I mean, you'd go from Iron Man, you'd go to War Machine. You've also got Falcon as well, who's sort of a tech guy with the flying suit, but and then you'd have Chris Evans, Captain America's mantle being passed to Bucky Barnes. So I think these comments have kind of confused me, but I mean, if Marvel have got a plan, they're going to keep Captain America in it, then fair enough because Chris Evans is great in the role.
Yeah, and I think with Evans, his first directing film, it didn't get the best of reviews. I don't think it's quite out yet, but it's on about 20% Rotten Tomatoes. But it's one of them. Maybe he didn't like the acting gig. Maybe he wants to come back. But I'm 200% sure that Boogie Barnes is going to be Captain America come the next film or two. And I'd rather it works that way. You're not going to give a bloke a nine-picture deal and not make use of the nine-picture deal.
Definitely. Who knows? Like, if he does sign a contract stuff for like a few other appearances, maybe he'll just appear to like Bucky as like a Force ghost or something, or give him some like wise words in like a weird ghost vision or something. We don't know, but if he stays on, I'll be fine with that because Chris Evans is great in that role. He's like fastly become like my favourite member of the Avengers since Winter Soldier. So it'd be good to see him stick around. And then in other news, I kind of want to pat myself on the back for this one a bit because I don't believe it was on air. I think we were chatting off air, weren't we, about Bond? But
Mm.
it's just come out that Sam Smith has been confirmed that he will be performing the title song for Spectre, which comes out later this year in October. I think we were just sort of like throwing back ideas. We were just like talking Bond. As I said, like I haven't really seen all that many Bond films. I've only seen the recent Daniel Craig ones. And we were trying to guess who would do the new song, and I was just thinking, well, who's popular at the minute in like the music industry? And I was thinking, well, it's not going to be like Ed Sheeran or something. He did the one for the Hobbits, so it's probably going to be Sam Smith. And lo and behold, today it was, I think it was earlier this morning, wasn't it? It was announced that he will be doing the song. I'm not a huge Sam Smith fan, and I think when I talked to you last, I think you said exactly the same. But to me, with these Bond films, probably not so much Casino Royale and Quantum of Solace, but definitely with Skyfall and this one, and probably the future, it seems like who they're getting to do the Bond song is just whoever's popular at the time. And I don't know if that was a case in the earlier Bond movies as well. Definitely, I think I'm not sure which movie it was exactly, but I know Duran Duran performed a song for one of the Bond movies. So that to me seems like another example. Is it
I think it's A View to a Kill.
View to a Kill? That's the one. That's a song I love, by the way. I'm a huge Duran Duran fan, but I think it's something similar to that, like today's equivalent.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll wait till I hear the song, to be honest, because I'm not an Adele fan, but I love the Skyfall song. I think that worked really well for the film. But I'm not too crazy on this news, but I was just kind of shocked this morning when my prediction came true.
yeah, I think the way I see it with the songs, it's very hard to rhyme Spectre. Just like Skyfall was a great sort of rhyme, the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more or less. Oh, they're popular. I mean, I'm not big on Sam Smith, but I know compared to today's musicians that he can actually sing rather than use like After Effects or something.
Yeah.
So I'm happy in that degree, and obviously I'm going to listen to the song Bond, and I'm hoping it works because I think he's done one or two FIFA songs, and they sound like they have that kind of Bond-esque tone. But it's always who's popular. Obviously, Paul McCartney did Live and Let Die, stuff like that. But it'll be interesting. It's called The Writings on the Wall, and it's going to be released on September 25th. But there's rumours that it might appear online tomorrow because they kind of release it before they go on sale.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be interesting to see how it turns out. But to me, this is the sign of the Bond marketing is coming because we're just over a month away now.
Yeah, and I'm to be honest, I'm surprised they haven't started ramping that up already because, as I say, like Bond's a huge franchise, loved by loads of people, not just UK fans, but worldwide in America as well. They've completely accepted the Bond franchise. So if the song is out tomorrow, we'll give it a listen, and then for like one little segment of the news next week, we'll turn slightly into a music review and give our thoughts on that song. But yeah, as I say, like it all depends. I didn't actually know the name of the song until you just said there, but I think that's a judging by the look of the trailer, I think that that title works with it. It's a little bit weird because I know this isn't always the case, but I was just expecting the song to be called Spectre to go with the film like Skyfall was. But as you said, it's probably be a bit hard to rhyme that over and over again. Um, but yeah, I'll give it a listen, see what it turns out like, and I'm sure that it's going to fit the movie. I just hope it's not a case of Quantum of Solace's song, which is still probably my least favourite Bond song of all time, which was, I think it was
Another Way to Die.
Yeah, that's it, Alicia Keys, I think, did that one. But I hope it still sort of retains that Bond quality to the song. Skyfall very much did. It's like with the violins, and it has like noticeable sort of Bond theme aspects to it. Not so much Casino Royale, although I love that song, and definitely not Quantum of Solace. So I hope it retains that, but it also stands alone as a good song on its own.
See, Another Way to Die I like, but that's because I like the White Stripes. Obviously, Jack White's a part of it, but it was one of them where it went very, very unbondish, and then fucking Madonna on Die Another Day. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I think Adele was literally the first, in my opinion, proper Bond song in at least 20 years. And to be fair, I think I could rate that in probably the top five. But it's one of them. Hopefully, it's good. Apparently, it's the first male solo artist from England in since 1965. So that's quite bizarre. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. But I'm just hoping it's good and fits the film.
Oh, definitely. And actually, my favourite Bond song isn't from a Bond movie. It's probably from Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. That the song to that is just totally a Bond song. So I'd love something similar to that at some point. But as I said, we'll give it a listen tomorrow. If it is out tomorrow or whenever it's out, we'll give it a listen and give you our thoughts on it as soon as we can. Now we're going to move into a chunk of Star Wars news that's come out. No surprises here. Only a few months away. I think we're currently 99 days away from release now. Yesterday they sort of put out a 100-day countdown, so we're in the final stretch now. Just got to make it through these next couple of months until we get the movie, but we're going to get through some news now. Benicio del Toro is confirmed. I think he has been confirmed now, hasn't he, for episode
Yep.
8? I know a while back he said that he was in talks to play the main villain of that movie, but now it's been confirmed that he is actually going to be in that film. I'm just going to sort of reiterate my thoughts from last time I talked about it. I think Benicio del Toro is a great actor. I think definitely in a villain role, I think he's going to be very imposing. I think he's going to be scary. I think he's going to be intimidating. But it has made me sort of wary that maybe Kylo Ren won't play a big part in the rest of the franchise. Clearly, Kylo Ren's been billed as the big bad for this movie. Andy Serkis as well has been, well, he's definitely going to be playing a villain, and I think that he'll be playing the sort of emperor figure of this trilogy, at least I hope so. It's all speculation at this part, and I think that Kylo Ren's going to be a sort of Vader figure, but if they get in a completely new villain for episode 8, then it's making me worried that Kylo Ren might not make it through this one. But that aside, I think he's a great actor. I can imagine him now. I think he's definitely going to fit so right into the Star Wars franchise. And I know it's 2 years away yet, and we've still got Rogue One. Well, we've still got Force Awakens to come out first, but it's already making me excited for Episode 8 and beyond.
Yeah, with Benicio del Toro, I love him. He brings this charisma to everything he does. Even in his like 5 minutes spelling Guardians, he's so over the top it works. I think with this, he is the perfect sort of general for the
Mm.
First Order, and I think Kylo Ren will live. I don't think they're going to make the mistake they did Darth Maul. I think Disney know it. The only thing I'm fearing is, well, I'm not really fearing General Hux. I think something will happen there, and I don't know what they're going to do with the Chrome Trooper because it looks so good, and I'm going to be devastated if it goes early. But I've got a feeling that one of their main three is going to bite the dust, and then they'll bring him in. Would I like him as a bounty hunter? Yes. Obviously, I'm not really doing speculation. I'm just doing a wish list. But
Mm.
he's got the look, and I know it's not canon, but he has the look of Thrawn too.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I don't think they'll do it. I'd rather they didn't because there's too much history. People know too much. But it's going to be interesting, and I love the fact he said straight away, "I'm the villain." I mean,
Mm.
he's going to be great doing the villain. He is that kind of intimidating presence that what's his name? I forgot the one from Skyfall, the villain. No Country for Old
Oh,
Men.
oh,
Do you know what I mean? Though?
Javier Bardem.
That's the one. Those
Yeah.
two, I've always thought they look the same, and they can both pull off the villain easily. I want to know what they'll do. And he said they're shooting March, but I've heard January from some other people. So it's arriving quickly. I think the hype to episode 7, the whole world's forgetting episode 8, which is brilliant from my point of view.
Yeah, and when Rogue One comes out, we've only got a few months to wait until Episode 8 comes out, because that comes out in the May, doesn't it? So that'll be thankfully a shorter wait between those two, and it won't be like the wait it's going to be from Force Awakens to Rogue One, like an entire year wait. When the credits hit for Force Awakens, it's going to be like the moments I had when I used to watch Lord of the Rings, when I used to go every year for those. Even with the Hobbit ones as well, when it hit the credits, I was like, oh god, now I've got to wait an entire calendar year until the next one comes out. But you just mentioned Javier Bardem, and that's a great shout. I would love to see them include him somewhere, but it's sort of jam-packed with villains at the minute. I'm not sure really where you'd fit him in. Maybe in a spin-off or something like that down the line. But you mentioned Thrawn as well, and I'm not going into loads of speculation now because we're still in the news section, but I really hope it turns out that they've sort of like threw us off with the name for Andy Serkis's character, and if they make him Thrawn, I think I'll just like my mind will just blow in the cinema if it turns out he's Thrawn. But we'll have to see. We'll have to wait. We'll move on to some more news now. There have been 3 rumored actresses to play the lead role in. Is this for episode 8 or is this?
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I'm assuming.
the,
Yeah.
the female lead. It's very deceiving because I think that Daisy Ridley, who's playing Rey, I think she is going to be the lead of the trilogy.
Yeah.
So whether they're introducing a character of some old lore, whether they're just going to try and spice up a bit how Lando kind of popped into episode 5, something like that I'm hoping. But 3 actors are Gina Rodriguez, Tatiana Maslany and Olivia Cook, and I've heard of none of them. Hardly anybody has.
Yeah.
I
Same.
think they do TV in America, so obviously that's why we don't know them over here. But there's a lot of legitimacy to these rumours because John Boyega's testing with them at the end of the month apparently.
Mhm.
So clearly that is the 3 that's remaining. And if they're going to be doing chemistry with him, the way I'm seeing it is definitely a lead character, maybe a romantic lead, I don't know. But it's just going to be interesting to see what they do because, to be fair to Kathleen Kennedy, she always reiterated that there's been no strong female leads, and obviously with Rogue One having a female lead, clearly Force Awakens is getting a bit of one. It makes sense to add a second one in maybe for episode 8 and probably episode 9, but it'll be interesting to see how it turns out and what they can do. And I like the fact Star Wars is going back to its roots, where although you can cast your big names, your Alec Guinnesses, your Andy Serkises, it's nice to have the unknowns that they can get their careers off this, but also you'll know so little about them it works.
Oh, definitely. And I mean, like with Ex Machina that came out earlier in the year, I up until a few months ago just completely didn't know that that guy in that movie is Poe Dameron and is going to be and General Hux as well. I knew that General Hux obviously because he's very easy definable, but in Ex Machina he completely, disappeared into that role. So, like from that, which was a low budget sort of indie, almost indie movie, really, wasn't it? And then now he's going to be in a huge franchise like this. It's exciting for actresses such as these 3 who might go on to bigger things after this if they knock it out of the park. And I do think these will be new characters, and as you said, I think it's going to be a sort of Lando situation. They appear in the middle part of the trilogy, and then they're in it until the end. And as you said, like it's great that Star Wars is bringing in more female characters. I think with shows like Rebels and even the Clone Wars to some extent, with the character of like Ahsoka and stuff like that. I think that Star Wars is definitely trying to get more female characters involved because I don't want to say I don't want to like this to come across as sexist and stuff like that, but I think that one of the factors where say more boys might be into Star Wars than girls is because there are hardly any female characters in Star Wars. I mean, if you think back to the original trilogy, you've got like Leia, Mon Mothma, and then perhaps a few other sort of like background side characters, and that's it. But I think now, and it's exciting for like a new generation of Star Wars fans, they've got Rey with this new film, they've got Leia as well, and I'm sure there's going to be loads of other characters who haven't even been seen yet. And then with Rogue One as well and Episode 8, I think it's Disney's doing everything right with it so far, and I know we still need to see Force Awakens to see how it turns out and see what their vision's like, but in terms of how they're approaching it in the pre-production stage and casting and stuff like that, I think they're doing. I don't think they could be doing a better job than they're already doing at the minute.
Yeah, exactly, and we'll get into later Force Friday, but the marketing is unreal, and the whole way Disney have handled the franchise so far is a credit to them, because you get stuff like Avengers where story plots leak left, right, and centre. To be fair with this, you can find spoilers somewhere supposedly. I haven't been clicking them, but they don't pop up on my Twitter page as much as every other film ever made does.
Mm.
So it's one of them where there's a lot of credit to be held there, and also, they've only marketed the first, I reckon, third of the film.
Yeah, definitely. And then from all that good Star Wars news, now we're going to sort of rage on one of the actors a little bit here. Anthony Daniels, of course, the one who plays C-3PO. He's played C-3PO throughout the original trilogy, the prequels, and he's basically always come back to do the voice for all the cartoons or video games and stuff like that. He is a veteran of the Star Wars franchise. I think we'd both say that. But that aside, he is a bit of a prick sometimes, and I think Kenny Baker would attest to that. I think they had struggles on set together. Kenny Baker's obviously plays R2D2, was in the costume for that, um, and sometimes he does come across as quite big-headed, I would say, or opinionated. And here, this came out. I think you read the full article. I just sort of like read the outline of it, that he doesn't understand why there was so much secrecy involved with Force Awakens or Star Wars in general with this film. I think he said something to the effect of, "It's just a film. Why does it need so much secrecy?" And I'm sorry, but Star Wars, there are spoilers with Star Wars, and the level, like the fan base that this series has, and how people are passionate about it, people don't want to know. And if all the secrets were given out, there's no surprises to it. And with this film, I'd say definitely, well, probably on par with the Phantom Menace before people realise how that turned out. There's been such a long wait between movies, and with this one, you've got all the original cast back as well, for the old time fans, as well as all the new stuff. So it's exciting for both old school fans and new fans. We're going to get some of the old and some of the new, and I think that's definitely what The Force Awakens is all going to be about. So for him to say, like, "Oh, it's just a film, it didn't need to be all this secret," I'm like, well, sorry, but it does, because that's part of the magic of it, it's part of the hype of it. And if you do keep stuff secret, it's just going to be an absolutely mind-blowing experience when we eventually get in that cinema and see everything on the screen for the first time.
Yeah, and what I didn't like when I was reading it, I was kind of, I think on my PlayStation, I was reading it like over like 10 minutes, just playing FIFA or something, and he's kind of kicked off that. I don't know if you saw the set pictures they did in EW last month, but picture of Lawrence Kasdan and JJ with the scripts, and
Yeah.
they're in red and it's blank, and the black ink, obviously. The way this means is that if they try and photocopy them, you wouldn't be, the computers can't process it because it's red, something clever like that. So everyone on the set obviously has been given the red scripts.
Mm.
I think they kept them. I'm guessing they've probably kept them on the set with them, or let them have it in the hotels. But it's very heavily guarded. And it's kind of kicked off saying, "Why has he got to be in red for? It's harder to read." I was there like, "Are you an absolute like moron?"
Mm.
And then he kicked off again, talking about when in 1977 when it came out. I wasn't expecting anything from it. All this nonsense. Then he went on one about they began using C-3PO to market toys and adverts and stuff, and they didn't contact me to do it. And I was just there, like, so. Then he was ranting, and the Guardian guy goes to him, "So why did you return for episode 5 then?" Then
Yeah.
it was the most obnoxious quote where, "I'm a part of C-3PO and he is a part of me." And I was just there, like, everyone hates C-3PO anyway when they watch the film. They would love R2D2 and BB-8. No one cared about C-3PO. They didn't want him in the trailers. Everyone wants to
Mm.
see BB-8. And it's his quotes. Then he started moaning about. He started going off on one about the prequels, how crap they were. I can understand that people don't like them, but as an actor that worked on worked on all three, you were back in suit. You've been given your career by George Lucas. You shouldn't be slagging them off as badly as he did then. I'm all up for opinions, but I don't think you should be doing that if you're that heavily a part of it. I think you should be doing little quotes. Then he went off again, talking about. Sorry, my mind's gone blank on this. I've got so much rage on it.
That's fine.
He kicked off on one more thing. I'll have to come back to it because I've forgotten it.
Yeah, that's
That wound
fine.
me up the most. But still, you know what I mean? You get the gist of it from him.
Yeah, I think what he just needs to be a bit fucking humble, to be honest. He just seems like so up himself. He thinks like he's the poster child of Star Wars, and I'm like, true, C-3PO is a big part of Star Wars. He's definitely a part of the main crew, and he's going to be in this new film, obviously. And then there's the whole thing where R2D2 and C3PO are the two characters that sort of run through the entire series, see everything. I know C3PO gets his mind wiped in the third one, but they've always been a part of it. So I get that. But I mean, you've got other actors in it. You've got like Mark Hamill, who's, and even like Harrison Ford, who's like, they seem really like humble to be a part of something this big. And you saw that at like the Comic Con with Mark Hamill on the panel, and he was like, you could tell like Mark Hamill's just great anyway. Like he's totally like on the same level as the fans. Like he gets it. He gets why it's got this fan base and things, stuff like that. But like to say that, oh, I wasn't asked to do this stuff, and then it's like, well, why did you come back for five? It's like, well, of course he's going to come back for five because, to be honest, I know you could say this with a few other cast members from Star Wars, perhaps, but what else of like worth or like notability has he done other than Star Wars? Like this is the one thing he's got, and it seems like he's just sort of like clawing onto this with like his his bare hands. But like the whole thing as well, like printing the script on like red paper and stuff like that. I don't know if you ever watched Lost or anything like that, but during the finale, because Lost was huge when that came out, and when that
Mm.
was ramping up for the finale, there was so much speculation and secrecy and like how it was all going to turn out. There was so many like plot lines and characters, and it was like, how is it going to end? What's the island about? All this stuff, and some of that wasn't actually paid off. But I remember watching the behind the scenes, and all the cast got a red photocopied, script, like a red copy of the script. And it's just part of it. He should know this by now, and I'm sure that that probably happened with the other Star Wars films as well. I mean, I'd be surprised if it didn't, especially for like Revenge of the Sith. But maybe that was a case that everyone knew how the story turned out anyway, so it wouldn't be as secret. But I mean, it's just, look, you're in Star Wars. Like, stop complaining. You're in arguably the best franchise of all time. Everyone loves this series more or less. It's like a part of everyone's lives. Just fucking enjoy it and stop complaining and just be a bit fucking humble.
I've remembered the other thing. He was
Yeah, oh yeah, go
talking
for it.
about they did the Tom Toms.
Yeah.
He's talking that they had him in the studio to record a few lines for the C3PO Tom Tom voice,
Mm.
and he said they gave him a free Tom Tom, so he put it in his car. And he said, "Oh, I turned off after 5 minutes. I was so irritated by it." And I was like, I don't like the director. I was like, you don't need to bring that up again. He probably got paid a few grand for that. Every single famous cameo, Lego Movie C3PO,
Yeah.
Rebels C3PO,
Clone
Clone
Wars.
Wars C3PO, 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 C3PO. You've got nothing, and he was there on set taking the piss out of Kenny Baker, saying, "Oh yeah, I'm an actor. You're like almost like a circus clown, apparently." He did
Jesus.
nothing else, and he just seems like a despicable bloke. And you know what? Everyone hates C3PO. I don't care. Um, it's literally whenever everyone loves R2D2, there's the little bits, but everyone just gets bored of the whiny one. When he got battered in episode 5, that was a great moment.
Yeah.
See, Han Solo turns him off. He's probably fed up of Anthony Daniels too. He was whinging, saying, "Oh yeah, it's taken me like 30 minutes to get into the helmet. Now it's 8 seconds." I was like, "Okay, again, you don't need to bring it up."
Yeah, and you know what? I can just imagine his reaction now when, well, to be honest, he's already been overshadowed by BB-8, hasn't he? I
Mhm.
mean, everyone's talking BB-8. Has anyone brought up C-3PO? I know there was that one shot that came out where he's got the one red arm. Other than that, what has come out? No toys. He hasn't featured properly in any of the trailers yet. Even R2's featured in one of the trailers. You see what we assume is Luke Skywalker putting his hand on R2D2. So even he's been in the trailers, but everyone's talking BB-8. I know they've got to bring up the new stuff, but we've seen Leia. We've seen well, we haven't seen Luke, but we know that's going to be a massive dramatic reveal anyway. But there's also been that leaked image anyway. Han's been in the trailer. Chewie, R2D2. No one's talking C3PO. I'm sorry, but no one cares. I mean, I'll be great. It'll be great to see C3PO in the film again. He is a big part of Star Wars. My problem's not so much with the character C3PO. It's with Anthony Daniels' attitude. I mean, he does play C3PO well, but just be a bit humble. Anyway, we've raged on this long enough. Our last bit of Star Wars news before we main to the main portion of our Force Friday special. The Star Wars Force Awakens soundtrack release date has been announced, and that is going to be released on release date of the film. Um, it's a little bit of a shame because I always do enjoy listening. Usually, soundtracks come out either up to like a couple of days or even sometimes a week before the actual film comes out. And I always do love listening to the music because I like listening to the songs and then in my mind try to think of what the scene's going to be like playing against the music and stuff like that. But with Star Wars, and I think this was the case during the Phantom Menace, wasn't it? Even the soundtrack can be a spoiler. Like you can tell the mood from a soundtrack, like if it's going to end on a happy note, if it's going to end on a sad note, if a character's going to die or something like that. And even the original Phantom Menace soundtrack, I think towards the end of the set list had something like Qui-Gon's funeral. So
Yeah,
if you bought that soundtrack before you saw that film, you knew immediately that Qui-Gon wasn't going to make it through, into the second movie. And so I think to avoid anything like that, either one, don't name your track a massive spoiler from the film, or two, do exactly as they're doing here. Bring it out on release day. I'm probably just going to go and see the movie at midnight. I'm probably going to see it two or three times the morning after that as well, like throughout the rest of the day. And I'm definitely going to be picking up this soundtrack regardless. I own all the other Star Wars soundtracks from the other films, and I can just imagine now, like the music to this film is going to be incredible anyway, and it's John Williams, and he's the goddamn man.
yeah, exactly. I mean, the soundtracks are a part of it. If you take away the Star Wars soundtracks, you can't think of anyone else except John Williams to do them.
Mm.
So it's one of them. They're so important, and you're right. I mean, if it was 1999 and I bought an album and it said Qui-Gon to death, Qui-Gon's ruin, I'd be like, for fuck's sake, because it'd literally be like them releasing a track. I don't know, Finn's death. How
Yeah,
pissed off would you be?
yeah,
And it's just one of them where even back then it shouldn't have been done, but back then spoilers wasn't a thing. Just like I don't think they were of the prequels, although everyone knew what was going to happen. So it's one of them where I think again it's just Disney sticking in their faith in Mark, and plus I don't think they'd allow something like that. I think they'd have intricate name. There's probably going to be Rey's theme, Finn's theme, the First Order march, or something incredible like that. So I'm so excited for it, but I can't wait because I'll be in London for it. I can't wait to watch the film at midnight, purchase it on my iPad and listen to it on the train back to Leamington or something like that. It's going to be incredible, I think. And if the film pays off as it should be, hopefully there is a. I don't think they do nominations, do they, for best sort of it's original score? So I don't know if it would count because it's
mm,
almost a new
yeah,
album. But if there's any way they could get some awards for it, that'd be pretty good.
yeah. I think he'll. I don't know if he'll get like a what's the call it? Not like a fellowship award, but like some kind of
Honorary.
acknowledgement. That's it. Yeah, I think he'll get something like that, and it would be great if the soundtrack did get nominated. But I think you're right. I think it is original soundtrack, but I think the soundtrack did to A New Hope did win an Oscar when that came out. I want to say. So and everyone knows how great the music is to Star Wars anyway. So I think even John Williams, like it'd be great for him to get like another acknowledgement. But I think he's aware that everyone loves his music and what it's done for the films. But what's interesting is that if that comes out on the release date of the film, and this brings us on to our next bit of news, which day actually will the soundtrack come out? It's just been put out. Was it on Star Wars official Twitter that came out, or was it on the
Yep,
Facebook page?
it's on
Yeah, on
their
Twitter.
Twitter and Facebook, and it's now on bbc.co.uk. What it is, we are now getting The Force Awakens on Thursday, December 17th. I, for one, am excited and 1% saddened. I'm
Yeah.
99% brilliant because we're getting it early. I was very shocked to wake up to the headline. I wasn't surprised. Sometimes we get Thursday releases on Disney Marvel films, so it was one of them where I'd half expected it. Luckily, I hadn't booked my London hotel, which I'd been speaking about doing at
Mm.
the weekend, so I've got no issue missing it there and then. But again, it's just one of those where that's cool. But some countries getting the 16th December, but deal with it, America.
Yeah. I don't know if America are still getting it on the 18th. If we're
Yeah,
getting it a day early. Um, God Almighty, I actually do feel sorry for the US here, like dodging spoilers and stuff. But then on the flip side, how many times have we had to do that for big major releases that come out? Like when, like say, when an animated movie comes out that we want to see, we have to wait like a month, month and a half to even 2 months. And like with Creed coming out, like they get it in November, we don't get it until February. What's all that about? But it's just one of them. It's great for me. We get it a day earlier, so I'm all up for that. As I said, like probably going to get um, Wednesday night slash Thursday early morning midnight screening for that. I'm gonna be there for that. I was there for the final Hobbit movie, but this movie's just gonna be like just like blow that movie out of the water. And this I'm hoping this one won't be as disappointing as that movie was. So yeah, it's great that we're getting it a day early. I'm not sure what this means for like other release dates and stuff like that. If that's going to move a day forward as well, or if we're just getting it a day forward. But you mentioned as well, like I do feel bad for people that have perhaps booked like the day off work for the release of Star Wars for that Friday, and now it's coming out on the Thursday instead. So it does suck for them, and I hope that somehow they can, rework it and swap the day or add another day and stuff like that. But if it means that like a whole 24 hours that I get this movie sooner, then that's completely fine with me because I just cannot wait. And that really ties up the week in movie news. So now we're going to jump into our main portion of our main show today, which is going to be our Force Friday special. Really looking forward to this one. That was sort of the warm up round for getting to talking Star Wars. Now we're going to get into the main nitty gritty of it. Um, so Force Friday was last week, obviously, where all the Star Wars Force Awakens toys went on sale. I think it was like Toys R Us did like a special midnight release. I don't think it was every Toys R Us store. I think it was just select ones in this country at least, and the US as well. I'm not familiar with all their store names, but they all opened up as well. And so like going in, I think you were more hyped for this than me because sort of I've been aware of Force Friday, but not as much as this year. This has sort of got me really into it now, and I look forward to like following it for like other years and stuff like that. But going in, if anyone had any doubts as to like the hype for this movie, like we knew that people were interested in this movie, um, but it always was that kind of like apprehension, like will the movie be good? Will it be bad? And I think that's still there, but to me, with the release of this and how quickly the toys have sold out, and like companies have like understocked and they're just completely out of stuff. I mean, we'll like discuss in a minute like stuff that we've bought like hasn't arrived or has had to been cancelled or swapped around. That's just put all those like fears aside for me because Star Wars is back. The fans are back, and that just shows for like the dedication and collectors and just fans going, buying the toys, getting involved in the merchandise push. And Star Wars has always been big with merchandise anyway, and that goes all the way back to the original trilogy when that came out. Um, it's a great time to be a Star Wars fan, and when you see like bits like this with like all the toys back on sale, it does take you back to being a kid again. And I'm not ashamed to say that I'm a huge geek. I'm a huge like I'm just a big kid. And then when all Star Wars stuff comes out like this, and you'll see on the internet like all the new toys and stuff, all the new characters, and I'm sure like give it a few years, these will like even BB-8's just been like accepted like already into like the massive character list of people from Star Wars. It's just great. So that was basically my thoughts going in and sort of after. So what about you? I know you follow Force Friday a lot closer than I did before now.
Yeah, well, what it is, I remember a few months ago. I think we just started on this when it came out that they announced it. I think this was May or early June, and they said on Friday, September the 4th, all the merchandise would go on sale. This is called Force Friday. Here is the boxes which will be displayed, and obviously it's the standard Kylo Ren at the top with the lightsaber, Star Wars underneath, little ticket saying coming December 18th. Now it's out of date. And it was one of them where back then I was kind of like, oh, that's cool, and then it began approaching where Safira Droid Company kind of like, we have something coming this September, sign up for alerts. Then it's kind of like, okay, that's going to be BB-8, I'll go for alerts. And then it started building and building. You've got the Black Series hype going, so that was happening. Then I think the past 3 weeks sealed it for me. I originally intended on having 300 kept for it. I was like, nah, I won't spend 300 quid. I'll keep 100 aside for it, so I did. Then it got to the final week where they announced like a 1 day YouTube live stream of them unboxing all the stuff, and I was like, Jesus, okay, they're really going for it. Then it came out every Toys R Us in America will open at midnight with Walmarts and Targets. Then it came out 5 in England will be prepared for special stuff, and I was like, okay, this has got my attention. And then it kind of happened where I was looking really excited to. I work at a retail place. One of my friends is a manager of sort of the home shop department, so he dropped me a text saying, come in on the Thursday early, you can go through all the boxing. I was like, sound. So it built and built, and then it got to the Thursday. I went through everything at work and prepared this. Although it's a big supermarket, it had all the toys, like the 10 quid ones. And then I got shocked at the other things. There's Star Wars coasters, a Star Wars alarm clock, Star Wars lava lamp, Star Wars pencil
Egg
case,
cups. I think I
egg.
saw egg cups.
There's BB-8 uh, paper plates. There's everything that Star Wars. It's just ridiculous. Then I was fully hyped. I had it planned that I'd be at Toys R Us for 9 a.m. in Birmingham, England. I wanted to get there at 8:10 to queue because I know it's going to go out of stock, and that was my plan. And then it hit 12:01 into midnight, and I refreshed, and then all the stock was on. Then it appeared to me. This is literally like a life story. Then it appeared that BB-8 isn't Toys R Us. He is going to be Disney Store or Zavvi or Amazon. And then I began I was sitting here. It was 12:05. Like my head was ringing. Do I get to two places at once, or do I get it all online? Then I decided online. I added all the Black Series figures into my basket on Toys R Us. Hit pay button. I'm sorry to say that these are now out of stock, and I was like, oh shit.
Jesus.
It's happened. And if this is the internet carnage, I then frantically went to Zavvi. They're not even getting anything in stock but a BB-8. I got BB-8 just before he sold out. Very happy with that. Didn't get paid till the morning, so I had some dodgy PayPal transaction going on. That worked wonders. It's unbelievable. So I got BB-8 at 12:05. I was buzzing. I was so excited. Then I went onto the Entertainer website. I was on my iPad at this point in bed, and then I added them to my basket. I clicked continue, and because it's an iPad, it couldn't continue properly, so I had to turn it off, turn on the computer, and they're all gone off the Entertainer website.
Oh,
Then third choice, Amazon. Amazon delayed getting their stock. It didn't come until 1:45. They had a Stormtrooper, Kylo Ren, Finn. They didn't sell Rey. I was quite shocked. I was like, what the hell's going on here? Then it came appear that Rey's not actually a part of Amazon stock, just like she's not on a lot of sites. So I was like, oh, okay. So I ordered 3 of them plus the Kylo Ren lightsaber, which I was buzzing for. Then I backtracked onto eBay and saw that the Entertainer had an official account, and I got a Rey off there, which I picked up from the shop this morning, which was very good, very tactical, because they're all sold out on eBay now. Well, off the Entertainer accounts, and then I was so excited I had everything. Then they announced the Journey to the Force Awakens trading cards, which are styled in the 1970s trading cards with all 6 films plus a few from Force Awakens. So I naturally bought 20 packs of them off the internet. Yeah, and this is what I am. I was like, you know what? I think my time here is done. So I went to bed, and then the next morning I went to my work. I bought, because in all honesty, I needed a new alarm clock, so I bought one. Then
Who's on the alarm clock?
It's Kylo Ren in the first order, so that's actually pretty cool.
Oh, is it? Oh, fair enough.
And it's like a clock, but not like a pathetic, here's a gigantic picture of Kylo Ren. It's just a normal clock with him on. There's only 6 squares, like fair enough. Then I bought the coasters because they actually look awesome, so they're nice. They're £4.
And the coffee mug.
Well, this is it. This is the main thing. I mean, sometimes I start work at 5:30 in the morning. I can get very, very tired. So I hate buying 20p hot chocolates and walking over to the shop doing it again. So I kind of, bought the Captain Phasma travel mug, which is incredible because it's chrome and obviously she's the Chrome Trooper. And I was like, wow, this is actually wonderful. Then at 5:30 or 6 a.m. the next day at work, I tweeted Gwendolyn Christie a picture, and she favorited it, and I was so happy with myself. That's my 3rd interaction with a Star Wars cast member from the new film. And that's 7 a.m. on Friday the 4th or Saturday the 5th, and then the Amazon delivery came. I think I've just destroyed the schedule by going over all of it, but it's kind of tied into it.
It's fine.
The Amazon delivery came. I cancelled going out with my mates. We were meant to go out about 5. We ended up going about 9 at night. I cancelled going other stuff. I was sitting there waiting for the delivery. Then it came, and I ripped it off. I got the lightsaber, the Kylo Ren, which was sick. Not the £200 one. I wish I was that rich.
Oh, right. I was going to say, was it the Force FX one?
Put that on the Christmas list if I ever do one.
Oh, yeah.
I want that hanging over my TV if I ever get that. It was just the standard £30. I mean, I've got cousins and stuff that come over, so now there's 2 of them for them to have a duel with, and it's actually the one that Finn's going to play with, so that's pretty cool.
And to be fair, those plastic ones still look like, I know the plastic and they're not quite as good as the Force FX ones, but they still do look, pretty decent for what they are.
Oh yeah, I mean, they light up, they do the sounds. It's just you're not going to give a 5-year-old a glass lightsaber to have a duel with. So it's just I got now the Anakin and the Kylo Ren one. So when the kids come over, they'll enjoy it more. So obviously I took the lightsaber out, and then I saw this thing. I was like, what the fuck's gone on here? And it was some kiddie Hero Mashers toy, and I was fuming because I thought they hadn't sent me any of my Black Series, and I pulled out like, what the fuck is this shit? And then I put it on the floor. Then they sent me two of the Black Series, and I was like, where's the Stormtrooper? They sent me
Mm.
Kylo Ren and Finn. Amazon did not send me my Stormtrooper. I was livid. This
Mm.
almost killed my day. I was so angry. I was aggressive. I went straight onto their Amazon page. One guy, I didn't receive it. Comment, I didn't get it too. They sent me some crappy Hero Mashers toy. Amazon fucked up. So I contacted them. They says, okay, we'll send you a new one in 4 weeks' time when they're back in stock. And I was literally there like, you just ruined it.
You were
You
giving
know?
into your anger. You were
Yeah.
almost at the dark side.
I mean, I know it's not the guy on the chat room's fault, but it's his company's fault. And how can you cock that up? This Hero Mashers thing's like the size of 4 Black Series put together. Why have
Mm.
I been sent this? And obviously, I've got the refund. I've sent that back. I kept the other stuff. I was happy with that. And I was so angry. And then on Monday morning, BB-8 came.
And all your problems were gone
Well,
because
it's
BB-8 is incredible.
It is incredible. I mean, I've seen a lot of people moaning on the internet saying, yeah, you can get the 80 quid one, it's a bit bigger. I know it's a bit bigger, but it doesn't do as much. I mean,
Mm.
it's still going to be cool. Oops, that should not have happened. It's not as
That's
cool.
fitting.
I know, it's not as cool as it, but, you know, that will do the job, it'll make us happy. But as a 19-year-old guy, with Force Friday overstocked, it was more or less like, okay, I needed this. Because I was originally going to get Disney Finny, which is meant to be incredible, but I ended up getting BB-8, which I can understand. And it's safe to say that I made the right choice.
Yep. And off air one time, I heard your BB-8 going off, and you were saying how great it is. And I know you posted a video as well of it in action, and it looks incredible. Yeah, you can hear it now if that's BB-8 going off. Just going back, like backtracking a little bit through what you just said. When you said like how much money you initially took out, did you say it was 100 quid?
My anticipation was 100 quid and 100 on Disney Finny.
Yeah, 100 quid won't even cover the cost of a BB-8. You'll need another 50 quid more. But yeah, I mean, it sounds like you cleared up shop with all the stuff you got. I think you got like more or less a bit of everything. I mean, you didn't dabble with the Legos and stuff like that, and the Nerf guns or whatever they are.
I wanted the Lego. What it was, my parents are in Spain and they rang me. They're at one of the main shops and they go, they've got loads of Star Wars 7 stuff here. I was like, tell me more. And then they're like, there's a Millennium Falcon Lego. I was like, oh shit, this looks quality. And obviously the euro is poor compared to the pound if you know our markets.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, how many euros is it? They're like 180. I was like, goodbye, and I put the phone down.
Yeah, it
Because
works out to about the same, doesn't it?
yeah, and I was really upset. I mean, I haven't had Legos in years, but they're so fun to build, and that's another one. But it was so dangerous. Everything that happened. I mean, I spent about 320 minus 20 because they've just given me a refund. But I was there expecting 100, but I was literally there like, if I was a sheikh, I would have spent maybe 3 grand because there's too much, and I think it's what gets me more is that they haven't released all of it because I've now seen the Wave 2 Black Series and the Argos Star Wars catalogue they've given me when I was trying to find stock yesterday morning. That's announcing loads more stuff that's going to be coming. There's going to be 14 Black Series Force Awakens. There is going to be a lot more coming out. They're going to be restocking the Kylo Ren 200 quid lightsaber mid-September. But I mean, I'm just flicking through now. I mean, you know, think of something they've got it. There's an oral fresh Darth Vader toothbrush. There is
Even Darth Vader likes to keep minty fresh in the mornings.
exactly, and I'm there like I know I've literally just destroyed this podcast, but it kind of covers the main bits we were gonna do.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I mean, you hit all the sections, so there's nothing bad about that.
I just didn't anticipate any of this.
No,
Because
I don't think anyone did.
no, like obviously we were too young in '99 to process it. I got into Star Wars just after Episode 1 came out, so I had the toys and stuff, but I don't remember being in the shops. But then the people here online says I was there in 1999. I mean, Ken Knapsack from Screen Junkies and Schmoes know. He goes, I'm not giving in to this. Then he bought like the two most expensive Legos, and I was like, fair play, because they look awesome. And it's just dangerous. I mean, there's more people on Twitter. Someone quoted, I'm upset with myself. I spent a filthy amount of money. He had the £100 Kylo Ren helmet. he had the toys, he had the kits. Another thing I forgot, I ordered the poster. That should be coming in this week too.
Oh yeah.
But that's an incredible poster.
Oh yeah. Don't even get me started on poster talk. Right. Okay.
It's your
Um,
turn now. I've gone
It
through it. I'm
is my
tired.
turn. I don't think I'll be quite go on for as long as you did. I bought nowhere near as much stuff as that. In fact, I bought two things. First off, this isn't Force Friday stuff, but I did cave and I did order the Force Awakens Entertainment Weekly issue. That came through in the post from the US the other day. It's all wrapped up in cellophane with a cardboard backing, and I want to keep it like that. It's got Kylo Ren on the front. I think we've talked about it before a few weeks
Mm.
ago, but it looks absolutely incredible. Top of my DVD shelf's basically my Star Wars shrine. I've got all my different versions of the films I own. I've got the special limited edition, I think it's Executor box set. I think they made about 20,000 of them. It's got the VHS copies in there, a copy of the scripts, and I've got one Black Series figure. I don't quite have the fabulous collection that you have, and you've showed me pictures. You've got like all the glass cabinets, all very ordered and like in sections. You've got an Empire section, a Rebel section, all that stuff. I've just got the Black Series Speeder Bike Scout, which is on top of my shelf as well. So now the Entertainment Weekly issues just took its place up there, and I'm the kind of fan that does want to buy all three versions of the Empire magazine as well.
I did.
Yeah, I mean, I flicked through a copy of it in my local newsagents, and the Star Wars section in there is about 4 pages long. It's like there's really not all that much Star Wars stuff in there. I don't know if they'll release another issue close to the time with more stuff. I doubt it though, because there'll be other films coming out soon as well. But those covers are just so nice, and I've saw the special subscribers one as well with BB-8 on the front, and the cover
Hmm.
to that's absolutely incredible. Currently stands at about £30 to £34 on eBay for that, just for that version. I know it's a lot, but I mean, I've got a month to buy it before they go off sale and the price hikes, so I best get on that. But anyway, back to Force Friday. Yeah, I ordered nowhere near the amount of stuff that you did, but by God, the temptation was there. You sent me a link to, I think it was Zavi, wasn't it, one night, just after midnight, and you said the Star Wars stuff's all up there. I've ordered all my stuff. Take a look at it. So I think I was in bed actually. I heard my phone go off. I was like, oh shit, Star Wars. Just jumped out, dived on the computer, and I just spent like the next 15 to 20 minutes just staring wide-eyed, like jaw hit the ground at all the new Star Wars stuff that was available. And right there, it just took me right back to my childhood. You said like when Phantom Menace came out, you couldn't remember all the merchandise rush of being in the stores and stuff. I totally can remember all that stuff. Like every single one of my weekends was going into like my local town, going into the toy store, and just I can remember like vividly like the shop in my head now. Sadly, it's not there anymore, and there's two toy stores I used to go to, and both of them aren't there anymore, which is quite a shame. But I remember all the pegs and the cardboard packaging had like the hooked top, and it would be like flicking through all the shelves to like see if there were different figures behind. But with Phantom Menace, I remember, and I don't know if this was at launch as well, if there was any kind of Force Friday thing for that movie, but they released like every character, like every single tiny background character you can think of came out before that film did. Whereas this one, which is quite interesting, and I don't know, like with the internet reaction or like what people think of the products, but what Disney seem to have done is they are literally just taking the core characters, minus Poe Dameron, which is a little bit weird, but they're mostly focusing on Finn, Rey, BB-8, and Kylo Ren. And in my opinion, that's probably the best way forward. They are all new characters. Disney are trying to get people on board with these characters before they see the movie and sort of see what they're like, what they're, all that good stuff. And definitely, it seems like, as I said earlier, BB-8 is the one they are pushing, and by God, they've done it. Because when I saw the trailer, and when I saw it on Zavi, that BB-8, it's about £150 here in the UK, or £140, somewhere around that. Um, I saw the Sphero teaser trailer for that toy, and I was like, have NASA worked on this thing? Because this thing is literally made of magic. I don't know how they did it, but it's incredible. And as I said, like I saw your video for it, and it just makes me want one even more. Unfortunately, I don't have a spare 150 quid lying around, so I can't really pick one up just yet, but it's definitely on my list of ones to get. They've also bought a remote control one out, A bit bigger than the Sphero one, but it's slow moving and it can't do as much as of the cool stuff. And I just saw that trailer and I was like, "Yep, well that's everyone's number one Christmas present for this year, then, isn't it?" And it seems like, well, already like there is no, you don't need any more facts for it. It is a fact right now. Disney are going to absolutely dominate for the merchandise this Christmas. They already are. It's still like a few months off from release date, and you bet your bottom dollar that when December rolls around, they're going to bring even more stuff out, even more great Force Awakens stuff. You said about like the Wave 2 of the Force Awakens toys for the Black Series and everything like that. And we're going to get loads more stuff. I still need to pick up the Argos book to check all the new stuff. But anyway, yeah, going back to Zavi, I just sat there looking at all these products, and you're right. There's everything. There's alarm clocks, which you bought. There's coffee mugs. I saw an R2D2 egg cup. There's an R2D2 desk vacuum. Like you can literally think of anything, and it's probably on that site and other retailers. But eventually, I only bought two things from there. I thought I'll pace myself now, but those Black Series ones are definitely on my list of ones to buy. I do need to go back though first and buy all the other ones because I know they come out in waves, and I know once the wave's gone, it's very difficult to get a hold of them. So I need to go back through all the other waves and pick up some of those. But I do definitely want to pick up the Force Awakens one. So in total, I bought a Force Awakens, I believe it's called Montage Framed Poster. It's a Xavi exclusive. It's this absolutely beautiful artwork. It's of all the characters, or most of the characters, and it's very much done in a sort of Drew Struzan way. It's not the poster that came out recently. It's a brand new one, but it's a landscape one by the looks of it, and it looks absolutely incredible. And I just saw that, I think it was like £25, and I was like, I need that on my wall. I've got a Star Wars poster here. It's the 30th anniversary one from quite a way back. I got that poster, so this is. I want to basically turn my room into a Star Wars shrine before the new movie comes out. And then I also just ordered another poster as well. I thought I'll go straight up artwork on this one and worry about the toys later when more come in stock. I thought I can wait for those. And then I got an email from Xavi like a couple of days ago saying, "Oh, we're sorry, but the poster you ordered is out of stock, and we don't know when we're going to get it back in, if we're going to get it back in at all." And it's like, we're sorry to say that it's not in stock, but we'll change that and we'll take it off our website. I just checked before we started this recording. It's still on the website, and it still say that it'll be dispatched within 2 days. So the two things I ordered, which already wasn't that much, I'm now getting one thing. So I guess that's good on my wallet, although the poster wasn't all that much. But I mean, we'll probably get onto it now if you want, because we've talked loads about the figures and everything like that, and people's thoughts on it. You just see people's thoughts on it anyway. Like, stock everywhere is just gone, or there's like hardly anything left. So we know that the fans are still there. We know that new fans are coming aboard. It's good to see that even after like all this wait between episode 3 and this one, and like people not liking the prequels as much, the fan base is still there. The fan base has always been there for Star Wars, and it will continue to be there probably after I'm long gone off this planet as well, with all these spin-offs coming out. But we'll get into our top three favourite toys if you want from Force Friday this time. There was a whole lot of them, but I think personally for me it was easy to decide what the top three were. But I've been speaking for quite a while anyway, so if you want to kick us off with your top three, but I think we both know what both of our number ones are going to be at the end of this list.
My third choice is actually an interesting one. It's the Poe Dameron Lego X-Wing.
Oh right, okay.
I'm digging the new X-Wing design, not because it's black and orange, but on the jets, they kind of split in half now, so I'm excited to see how it works. I know it's not physically possible, but I'm sure at Star Wars they found the way. The design is awesome, and Lego-wise, I loved my first X-Wing. It's one of the original late 1990s ones, the first Lego Star Wars dealership. I've got all of them still in the garage. They're incredible. Obviously now it's, you know, back then apparently it was expensive. I was too unaware to know, but now, not including inflation, they've just added it on even more. This is £70, and 720 pieces. I don't know if that's a lot or not. I can't remember Lego enough, but I think it looks awesome, and you get a Lego BB-8, which just looks as cool. So that's my number three. The second one is the Force Effects Kylo Ren lightsaber, because I know it's not really a toy. I don't know if it's cheating. I can pick another, but that is just,
It is awesome.
I need it. I need to show everyone that comes round. it needs to sit under my Force Awakens poster when it comes, above the TV, so I'll always see it.
Yeah.
And I want to take it round with me and demonstrate that I have it.
I was gonna say
Obviously,
you need to choreograph some kind of elaborate fight sequence with it and just film it. Just
exactly, and
because.
it's just one of them where it's awesome. Like, what's interesting though, it's £220 on a lot of sites,
Totally worth it.
but I've seen it for 140 on I think two retailers in England. So
Yeah,
I
so
think
have I. I think I saw that as well when I was checking it out. I think on Amazon it was like 240 or something, but then I don't know where I saw it. I'm
it.
not sure if it was Zavi or somewhere, but it was really cheap.
Yeah, it might have been Zavi because again, the Black Series Tie Fighter, which looks unbelievably amazing, that hasn't actually
Mm,
gone on sale yet, and that's a lot cheaper there than it is
mm.
everywhere else. So it's one of them where it's kind of like, are they screwing us over? Yes, but then again, in America, I believe they had tax on at the till.
Yeah.
So when it's $199.99, I don't know what the percentage of their tax is, but you get it afterwards. So
Mm,
it just might be one of them where it's like, oh okay. Um, Number one, we all know. I
yeah.
own him.
Hmm.
He's here. He's watching me right now. It's BB-8.
He isn't bleeping as much as I expected because he is voice activated as well though, isn't he?
Yeah, I've turned him off though.
Oh,
So
you turned him off. Okay. Well, I guess I'll run down my top three. You know what my number one's going to be, though. My number three is the Kylo Ren Force FX lightsaber. I'm a huge fan of the Force FX lightsaber series. I think they're absolutely gorgeous. Unfortunately, I don't own one myself. I went round my mate's a couple about a month ago. Actually, he's got the. He's had this for years. He's got Anakin's one from Episode 3, which I guess is technically Luke's one as well. Um, and it's awesome, like especially if you turn the lights off or you're in a darkened room, and when you ignite that lightsaber, it's the closest tangible thing we'll ever get in this like century or more or millennium to a real life lightsaber, and they are awesome. And I keep seeing, my favorite lightsaber of all time is Luke Skywalker's from Return of the Jedi, the green one. I do really want to pick up that, and my mate said when he bought his lightsaber it was really cheap. It was like I think he said something. I'm probably wrong with this. He said something like £80 to £100 he paid for it. I checked Luke's from Return of the Jedi's and Vader's. Both of those are my favourite lightsabers, and I think Vader's was something like £700. Or both of them were like between £400 or £700. So I don't know if that's the case because they're really hard to get now, or if it's probably more the case that Star Wars is back in fashion now, so they're going to hike the prices of everything because they know that people are interested in it. But I mean, this Kylo Ren one, and I know a lot of people are sort of really divided on this lightsaber in terms of the actual design. Some people think it's really cool, some people think it's stupid and it's gimmicky. I can understand the gimmick, and it very much does seem like what they did with Darth Maul when he just shows up with a double blade just because it's new. But I'm waiting for the film. I want to see how it's used in combat, and then I'll probably be on board with it more. But I mean, as Force FX lightsabers go, this is just incredible. The only thing I don't like about them is that I think they've changed the stands that they're on now. It seems like the stand for them is like this clear plastic sort of curved sort of
mm,
stand that goes from the blade to the floor. And I think originally they were on like wooden plaques which said Star Wars with like two raised sort of holders that you laid the lightsaber across. And to me, that was a lot more appealing and looked a lot nicer. I don't know, the plastic just seems a lot more cheaper and sort of like takes away from the overall look at it. But if I'm just going on the actual item alone, it's incredible, and the lightsaber design itself, it looks distressed, and I think the lightsaber is as well by the looks of it. I love it. So that's my three pick. My number two is the Black Series TIE Fighter action figure that's coming out. This has been rumoured for ages, and we've seen this at, I think it was Comic Con, wasn't it? They unveiled this one. Um, Absolutely incredible. And again, Zavi have got one that looks exactly the same. I don't know if they use the same picture or not, but it's a lot cheaper. It's about £80 here in the UK. But I think that that's sort of like a cheaper, lower quality, not as detailed version of it. The actual Black Series one, which probably the Black Series itself as a toy line for Star Wars is probably right up there with like Hot Toys. I think Hot Toys is the pinnacle, but if you're going for sort of just like general release of action figures, I think Black Series is at the top, and they've really outdone themselves with this one. They've done some special ones before. They did like sort of the scenes with like Han and Greedo. They've done Jabba's palace. They've done Boba Fett. and then they've done like Han Solo with the Tauntaun. So they've done things like that, but I don't think they've ever done vehicles, and certainly not to this scale. And it is to scale to the figure, so you've got a 6-inch figure of the pilot, and then the TIE fighter is just this massive monstrosity of awesomeness, which I really, really need on top of my shelf of a Star Wars shrine. I think that's about £140 as well, but it looks like it's worth absolutely every penny of that amount, as all of these toys are. So that's definitely a one for collectors of the Black Series or just of Star Wars toys in general. And then my number one is, of course, BB-8. I think it's everyone's. It's going to be number one Christmas present this year. Everyone's talking about it. Everyone loves it. Everyone's fallen in love with this character, and it's really weird. Like, I remember when the first teaser trailer came out just before December, and it was just sort of like the little fleeting shots, and I think the second one of it was BB-8, and I remember my own thoughts. I thought, God, this looks crap. It's like R2-D2's head stuck on a beach ball, just rolling around the floor. Like, what has Star Wars become? And then for some reason, I remember when they wheeled it on stage, we saw trailer 2, and he looks sort of like really timid when he peers around the corner and everything like that. Um, Myself, and I think like just the general like fan base itself, is they've just taken BB-8 into their hearts. And when you see this trailer for the toy, he's sort of the Star Wars equivalent of Wall-E. I think he makes very similar sounds, and obviously Pixar is owned by Disney, and now Disney have got Star Wars, so I think there is some similarities there, and I think that Disney are great. And this is the thing, like, I don't know how much came from J.J. Abrams or like Lawrence Kasdan creating these characters, or how much Disney said like you've got to have a character that's like this, you've got to have a cute droid in there. But Disney are awesome with making cute characters that don't say anything, and BB-8 already is incredible. And this toy, like I said this earlier, it's like NASA worked on this thing. It can basically do everything other than have a jetpack and fly. It does holograms, albeit it's on an app on your phone. You can steer it. It's basically artificial intelligence because it can move around on its own and just like putter around the floor and around the house and stuff like that. It can do absolutely everything, and like the mechanisms of it working, like I'm assuming it's magnets for the head and how it rolls. It's absolutely incredible, and it's £150. It'll probably be a while before I can buy this thing, but I definitely want it, and I hope at some point they do bring out a bigger version of it. But then again, if they did bring out a bigger version of it, God knows how much that one would cost. But yeah, so that's basically my top three figures. There's a few other bits we can talk about. There were a few action figures. I'm not sure which action figures they were actually that did this, but some of them have voices from the new movie. That is the character of Ren, Captain Phasma, and Finn. Um, I've saw this on Star Wars News on Facebook because they post like all leaks and concept arts and leaked images and all that stuff. But I'm at the stage now where I want to know as little as possible. The only stuff I'll check out are official stuff. So if they bring out another trailer, I'll watch that. But right now, I know I want to see the movie. There was no question of that. They could have brought out no trailer and nothing, and I would go and see this movie. So I think you've heard the voices, but so try and explain a little bit about them, but also
I'm not spoiling anything.
don't spoil too much because I don't want to know exactly everything about the voices. I want to go in and like be surprised at what Ren sounds like.
Well, with me, it's I'm not going to repeat any of their dialogue. I heard one thing. It's not a spoiler to me. Apparently, there has been some stuff that's been spoiled by the voices. I doubt it's a proper spoiler, but I don't know. Anyway, what I heard is not a spoiler. I'm not going to say it though. Kylo Ren, obviously, he's wearing a helmet. I had this minor fear in my head because he's got the back of Darth Vader's helmet, kind of ish. I had this bad feeling that he'd have this like wannabe voice, but in all honesty, it's kind of normal. There's
Yeah.
nothing exaggerated. It's almost like the guy with a mask on. Deal with that. Then you got Finn. John Boyega's English, I know, from Attack the Block with a proper London accent. Um,
That would have been amazing if he'd have kept that accent for this.
oh, it would have been brilliant. Could you imagine him like?
Yeah.
It's like I love it. He gets his lightsaber out, chops his head off. Um, that's just. I don't think it's a spoiler saying it's American. Obviously, it's not like Texas. It's not like New York. It's just this, American accent. Which I expected, to be fair. You don't really get a British heroes unless they're Obi-Wan in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Then one of the pieces of dialogue I heard of him, it sounded like it was coming out of his helmet, because obviously he's a stormtrooper, but the figure's him as a human. So that was interesting. And then the next one's Captain Phasma, who I am very intrigued by. I think he's one of the best designed figures, and I think you said, didn't you, that she might be the new Boba Fett for all we know.
Oh, I think she totally is, and I think that's what they're building her up to be. Not so much in, well, it is sort of a similar look, isn't it? It's a character completely in armor. I almost hope that the character doesn't take the helmet off because I think that'll add a element of mystery to her. And Gwendolyn Christie's just awesome. If anyone watches Game of Thrones, and we both do, she plays Brienne of Tarth in that show, and she was great in that. So as soon as I heard she was cast in this, I was over the moon, and I think she already next to BB-8, she's probably my favourite character. She's my favourite character for different reasons. BB-8's just cute, and everyone just loves him. Phasma looks like an absolute badass, and I don't know if you said you've got the figure of Phasma already, didn't you say, or is that
Uh,
Phase 2 that's coming
no,
out?
that's a Wave 2 weapon there. In
Right.
America, a lot of shops accidentally were ordered the Wave 2 models.
Mm.
So a very few people got a Captain Phasma. They got some characters I've forgotten the name of that we haven't seen before, like
Mm.
Zuvio and stuff like that. That was a bit of a cocker, but I don't think it's intentional. It doesn't. They're not important. They're not Han Solo. They're not Leia. They're not Luke. I think they're being very wise at how they're releasing these waves. I reckon we'll get one in January with your Supreme Leader Snoke, with your Luke, with your Leia. I think we're going to get a wave of the ones that everyone would crush
Mm.
for. Um, and then with her voice, it's Bren of Tarth done for a helmet. And
Mm.
and so they've kind of got the stormtrooper voice. It sounds weird, obviously, because she's a woman. We haven't heard it before, but you know that it's that kind of poshed up, not English accent, but you know how she is in Game of
Yeah,
Thrones.
yeah.
It's almost that in a helmet, and I just cannot wait because I think Boba Fett's this badass, but everyone says we haven't seen enough of him. We don't. I love him, but we that's the expanded universe where he does stuff. I think in this film we are going to see Captain Phasma. I think she's going to be this like maniacal stormtrooper where she's probably torturing people. She's going to be ruthless, a bit like how Grand Moff Tarkin just decided to blow up the Death Star at the click of his fingers. I think she's going to be brutal, and I really think the new stormtroopers they're going to be able to shoot not 100% accuracy, but from about 0 to 20.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. The stormtroopers need that, but I hope that her character, and that we can sort of get into this now. We won't make this section super long because honestly, in all honesty, we could just talk for an entire day for our hopes for episode 7. So we'll keep it really brief. But I hope she plays a character similar to how Darth Maul was in the first Star Wars film before he was, abruptly killed off, where he's chasing the heroes down. She's going to be this assassin who pursues the characters all the way through the film, and hopefully she makes it to the end of the film as well and continues into the next ones. I think she's a really imposing force, and just from that shot from trailer 2 where she's got like the rifle and she's just like stalking towards the camera right there, I just saw that clip and I was like, yes, this is Star Wars. She fits completely into this universe and I cannot wait to see her character. But if we just jump, this will be like the last section of our main show before we move into movie fights and the rest of our segments. But my biggest hope for episode 7, other than the fact that I hope it's good, is that I don't want it to be too similar to the original trilogy. I mean, from what we've seen from the trailer now, I think if you're sort of like eagle-eyed and you're piecing all the footage together, you can pretty much get the first act of this movie down. I think um, it seems like someone crash lands on a desert planet. We've seen shots of BB-8 possibly getting captured by I think his name's Constable Zuvio, isn't it, or something like that on the Luger Beast. So right there, it seems like you've got someone crash landing on a planet they don't know, similar to R2D2 and C3PO in A New Hope, getting captured by a scavenger or something, like C3PO and R2D2, getting rescued, and then getting caught up in this big adventure. So right there, it seems like beat for beat, it's going to follow very similar to A New Hope, and especially with the First Order as well, who are more or less exactly the same as the Empire. There's no like big planet destroying monstrosity like the Death Star that we know of at the minute, so I think they're avoiding that. But that's my biggest problem. I don't want it to be, and I really like Star Trek Into Darkness, but I'm not a Star Trek fan, but I completely understand fans' criticisms that movie started off doing something new, and then it got into Khan, and then literally the last 20 minutes to half hour is more or less just a beat for beat remake of Wrath of Khan. I don't want that to happen. I want it to be new. I want it to be different, but still retain the same spirit and quality of the originals. And so far from the trailers, that's what it looks like it's doing. I don't want it to be a passing of the torch movie. For example, I'd very much like to see Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, and Harrison Ford. Although there's rumours that Harrison Ford might not make it to the next movie with this one, but I would like to see them play a main part in it. Um, but I know that it's mostly going to focus on the new cast, and that's fine. But I just don't want it to be a passing the torch movie because I'm really, really against passing the torch stuff, and that's among many reasons is one of the reasons I absolutely hate Indiana Jones 4 a lot because I was absolutely seething in the end of that movie where Shia LaBeouf's about to put the hat on. But I don't want to like destroy this entire conversation by talking about Indiana Jones 4. Have you got any big hopes or speculation or what you hope to get out of Episode 7?
Yeah, I just want an incredible film. I mean, obviously that's what everyone wants, but
Yeah.
the way I'm seeing it is where if you look at sort of the Comic Con panel, the celebration panel, everything joining, this is clearly a passion project, obviously from the director and producers because it's Star Wars. But I think they're capturing the tone of the original trilogy, where they were talking, saying this is outside. It's almost like westernized with the deserts and the forests and stuff. I think they're kind of taking the landscape of the original trilogy, the essence of the practical effects, and they're putting it into this new story. And I think they're going to integrate the original characters into this new story. I'm really hoping it's something special. I mean, they're not revealing surnames of the three of the characters because I think everyone knows one or two of them might be related to someone from the original trilogy.
Definitely,
But
yeah.
I really believe that this is the potential to be something special. I know that the opening third, it does sound very similar to the original Star Wars, but I think they're doing it in a way that even the prequels did it, where kind of Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon were on a diplomatic mission. They get stuck they crash land onto a planet. They walk
Mm.
towards the planet. They have to get off the planet of the Queen, a bit like how they have to, like Luke leaves the Falcon and stuff like that. I think there's these similar molds, but I don't think they're gonna mess it up in the sense that this is gonna be. I think this is gonna have the hope of Episode 4 with the binary sunsets, but I think the final third is going to be this. The First Order are going to be like the Empire is in uh, the Episode 5. I
Mm.
really think that this is the potential to be incredibly brutal but beautiful, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping that's that. There was someone said, "Oh, yeah, I bet Luke's only in it for 2 minutes." I wouldn't be surprised if he is, but I've got a feeling that as long as the original characters, I think we'll see the most of Han and Leia for a start.
Mm.
If they can capture the essence, I mean, Lawrence Kasdan knows Han Solo. It was in the Empire magazine that he's finished his first draft of the prequel film. So I'm happy
Mm.
they're clearly not delaying it too much. But if they can capture the essence and tone of the characters and give the new characters spirit, I mean, Finn kind of seems like John Boyega. He's loving it. He's a mental fan. As long as they're not making him this cocky Han Solo-esque character, as long as Rey isn't this Princess Leia-esque character, Poe Dameron isn't this Luke character, I want them to be their own characters rather than be people from the old ones. And I think with Poe Dameron, we haven't seen a lot of him. I think some of it's because he's filming X-Men, but I think a lot of it is because I think
There's
he's going
more
to be a
to his
badass.
character.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think if he's leader of the X-wings, I think he's
Mm.
going to be brilliant in it, and I'm hoping he is because he's got. I like Oscar Isaac, but he's kind of set a celebration on the best pilot in the galaxy, and we all know that BB-8 is his astromech droid. So there's
Mm.
clearly a lot happening there, and in the Comic Con reel, it's being taken away by stormtroopers. So there's a lot that's going to happen, but it's one of them. I just want this to be a good film. I want it to be a film that everyone in the world unites. I mean, to be fair, like I know I'm big on football. With the TMI sport, there's a massive hate divide with the manager. It's to me, I always compare it to the prequels. There's such this divide of the prequel fans. People hate it or you like it. There's no middle ground. I think with this is the film that's just going to bridge that gap where everyone is kind of going to like love it together, and I hope it
Mm.
stays off like that because there's such a nasty side to these fans when stuff goes wrong. But they can unite the fans, make a good film, have everything go right for it. Then I'm all good for it, and as long as they treat it well.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I kind of really regret looking at initial concept art from like a year ago. I looked at all of them. I think I may have said this on one of the other shows, but every single shot that I've seen so far is more or less a recreation of what I've seen from trailers and from Comic Con things. So I know now for Rogue One and Episode 8 not to look at concept art, but when you were talking about the ending, and I'm not going to spoil anything on here in case anyone hasn't seen it and doesn't want to know, and believe me, that's fine because I don't want to know anything now, but there is a shot on one of those concept arts that literally made my jaw hit the floor, and it looks absolutely incredible, and they have showed no clips from it yet. I'm thinking that that might be the end of the movie because the scale of that concept art looks absolutely just you can't even imagine. It looks incredible. So I'm hoping that is the end of the movie. But I mean, it's difficult not to get on the hype train, not so like with all the merchandise, with the trailers, with the clips, all the speculation and everything like that. That's all part of it, and I love to get on the hype train for films. I've done it in the past. I've been hurt by a lot of films before, Dark Knight Rises. But I'm trying not to get too hyped because if I do, and I go in and my expectations are like way up here, and then I see the movie and I go, that's going to be almost more heartbreaking than if it was straight up a bad movie. I know you like the prequels, and there are bits of the prequels that I like too, but overall, I don't think they're great movies, like made movies. So we've already seen Star Wars can be bad or not as good, so we're aware to that now. So I think with this one, it's kind of different. When the original trilogy came out and then the prequels came out, everyone was like, well, of course the prequels are going to be amazing because Star Wars can't be bad. Now we've seen that it can be. I think that there's a lot riding on this one, and perhaps this could be our first average Star Wars movie. I don't think I'm going to like it as much as the original trilogy. Nothing can top the originals. That's like a whole thing with like legacy and what it did for cinema and just purely being out for that long since the 70s and the 80s. But I'm hoping, as you said, it retains the spirit of it, and it makes me feel like the first time I watched those original Star Wars movies growing up as a kid. And I think for a lot of people it will be. It's not just for old fans, it's for new fans as well. And if it can capture that, then I think it's in safe hands. I'm just trying not to get too hyped, but it's very difficult because it's Star Wars, and Star Wars is fucking incredible. But that's basically all the content for our main show for Force Friday. I know we went on a lot of tangents and we rambled on for quite a while, but you know, we both love talking Star Wars, and that's exactly what we do best. So we're going to quickly round off our show now. We're going to have another edition of Film Fights. How Film Fights works is that we take a character or character, situation or whatever we feel like, and we pit them against each other in a fun what if fight to see who comes out the victor. Today we've gone with a Star Wars theme, quite obviously, so we decided to do the same with Film Fights. And we've gone with everyone's favourite bounty hunters. So, our fight this week, who would win in a fight? Boba Fett versus Jango Fett, his father. I believe that Boba Fett's featured in one of our earlier movie fights. I think we had Boba Fett against Mad Max before we did our Mad Max Fury Road review. So he's making a return to the podium this round with Film Fights. So why don't you take this one first? Who would win in the fight, Boba Fett or Jango Fett?
See, I'm a massive fan of Boba Fett. I think he's brilliant. But Jango Fett, it's a shame that he was only in Attack of the Clones, and it just coincidentally was the worst one. Because I think if you'd have put him in Episode 3 leading up some armies, some crazy shit could have gone down there. But I'm going to go for Jango Fett on this because it's going to make it funner, and I'm going to, if you want to, unless you're picking Jango too.
See, I haven't really given it much thought until now, but I'm trying to break down, like, what did each of these bounty hunters do in the galaxy? Okay, I think, I don't know if they say this outright, but Jango Fett, and this is probably in some EU as well, which isn't canon anymore, unfortunately, but so someone could correct me on this, but I think Jango was regarded as one of the greatest bounty hunters in the galaxy, and I think when he signed up to nominate himself for the cloning process, it was because of his, like, physical prowess, and that he was, as I said, like, the best bounty hunter in the galaxy. And then that mantle sort of passed to Boba Fett, and he was revered, and everyone sort of knew him, and we get the impression, it's never outright said, but I just got this impression myself from watching Empire that Han and Boba Fett did have some kind of history, maybe that Boba Fett tried to capture him in the past, and maybe we'll see that in the Han Solo spin-off that comes out in a few years. But what did each of these bounty hunters do? Okay, so let's look at Boba Fett first. Everyone loves this character, but really all he does is that with the help of the Empire, he tracks and captures Han Solo and takes him to Jabba. And that's basically it, because then we see him in a fight in Return of the Jedi, and this is like one of the most like fan rage moments. He's on the sail barge, and then Han just clumsily, whilst he's blind, swings a staff round, smacks his jetpack, goes flying through the air, lands in the Sarlacc pit, and to our knowledge, I know that there's some canon news now that maybe Boba Fett survives, and it's always been talked about, but in terms of the film so far, he's dead after that. So really, Boba Fett doesn't do all that much, but he gets, you know, all this love and fan praise, everything like that. I think that's down to his image. But Jango Fett, to me, seems like he does a lot more. We see him with Zam Wesell at the start, and he assassinates her with the toxic dart. We see him commanding other bounty hunters, so he's got he's really high up in the ranks. He's respected in that line of work. He's got Slave One as well. He tracks Obi-Wan, but there's that whole elaborate CGI-filled chase through the asteroids, even though he's like emptying all the clips of Slave One.
It does look brilliant though, that bit. That bit
yeah,
is brilliant.
He keeps blowing up around Obi-Wan for some reason, even though he's got a lock on him, which I never quite understood. But he also has the seismic charges, which are some of my favourite things in Star Wars. And even then, he stands side by side with Count Dooku, who's a Sith Lord, so he's got power there. He's higher up there, and unsuccessfully, but he even takes on Mace Windu. The second in command to Yoda at the time. So if you're going for like sheer balls on the guy, you got to go with Jango Fett for all the stuff he like tries to do in this film. And I know that basically with both of these characters, it's the jetpack that ultimately lets them down. As I said, Boba Fett's jetpack gets smacked and he goes flying through the air. Jango tries to take off, but his jetpack sparks and then he gets decapitated by Mace Windu. But if we're going on a fight of who I think would win between these two, I think Jango Fett. And it's not just that. I mean, you look at the sheer amount of gear he's got. He's got the flamethrower on his arm. He's got rockets. He's got the awesome twin blasters. I just think there's more going on with Jango Fett, and there's a reason that at that time he was regarded as the best bounty hunter in the galaxy.
See, I thought you'd pick Boba, which is why I went for Django. And the reason I'm picking Django, not only does he obliterate that weird-looking Jedi on the top of the ledge, he does it within 2 seconds. He spins the gun. He has the cockiness. But with him, he is the face of the clone army. They are clones. Each clone essentially is Jango Fett, right? Boba Fett is Jango Fett for a start. However, when every single one of them Jedi died, it was Jango Fett that was killing them. So in all honesty, you could say that Jango Fett wiped out, although it was the clones, there was Jango's physique, his ability on guns stuff. Jango Fett does a lot more for the saga than Boba, although I prefer the design of Bob. I love the sort of blue armor that Jango has. Bob is a cool guy still. But I think Jango would obliterate him, and, him in the Slave One, we don't see Boba Fett do a lot on it, but, Jango's overpowered as hell, and I think he was a worthy fight. I think, if you ask Jango Fett, would you rather get your head chopped off by Mace Windu, or would you rather fall into the belly of the Sarlacc pit? He'll say Mace Windu, but also he'd probably fly at the belly of the pit. So it's one of them where I think Jango Fett would win in this fight. As much as I like Boba, Jango is that's who the clones and Boba are aspiring to be. And also we didn't see Jango as like a 8-year-old New Zealander trying to kill Mace Windu in the Clone Wars, but Boba Fett's pretty cool in the Clone Wars too.
That's true, and god damn it, I'm trying to find the name of that one Jedi you just said that tries to kill Count Dooku on the balcony before he gets shot off. I used to know his name, I had a figure of him, and I bought him just for that reason because he was so spectacularly shit. And I'm googling him now and I can't, hang on, I think he's called Trebor or something. I was just wondering what his name was. But yeah, I think in all honesty, I've got to go with Jango on this. I prefer Boba as a character, I think most people do, to be honest. But if we're breaking this down bare bones to the fight in who would win, I think it's going to be Jango, in all honesty. I hate to say it because Boba Fett's awesome, but Jango all the way for me. So I think we're both in agreement. Jango is all-out winner for this one. So we've sort of knocked Boba Fett off the pedestal now. So maybe Jango Fett will make a return at some point, sometime in December perhaps. But now we're going to sort of just round off our show now. So we're going to move into recommended movie. How recommended movie works is each week we take it in turns, picking a movie to review for our midweek show film club that vaguely ties in with whatever we talked about in the main show. So obviously today was our Force Friday Star Wars review. So it's your pick, George, this week. Kind of a weird one to go off this week. It's not a conventional movie review. This was like a toy line and just about Star Wars. So what movie have you picked, and what were your reasons for picking it?
Well, the obvious answer is to pick Star Wars. However, I think together we are happy to announce that in December we will be having a kind of not Star Wars month because there's still one or two things happening before that. But we will be reviewing the original trilogy, the prequels, discussion on the animated shows, our top 10 moments of each trilogy, and to finish it all off, the review of episode 7. So I wanted to say that first. That's why I will not be picking a Star Wars film to review. I'm very excited for that. And I'm going to give you a choice this week because I actually haven't given you one yet, and that was just really weird where I tried to get you to take the week because I couldn't think.
Yeah.
But, a few weeks ago I came with this list at home, and it was literally like everything to see before episode 7. And it's listed off everything. You've got stuff like 12 Years a Slave, Minority Report, Mission Impossible, stuff like that. Everything related to the new film. And I went for some off there. And I'm giving you a choice. I was going to go Ex Machina, but we've both seen it. It's a very good film. We like it. There is Inside Llewyn Davis, which stars Oscar Isaac as the lead character with Adam Driver appearing in one scene.
Okay.
So there's one on the table there, done by the Coen brothers. Or there is Attack the Block, the film which found John Boyega. I don't know if you've seen it yet.
No, I haven't seen. I haven't seen either of them.
And it's up to you to decide because it's almost research for episode 7. That's what I call it.
Yeah, it is. Wow. Okay. Right. Okay. Well, this is my thoughts. Okay. I'm not a huge Coen Brothers fan, and I know that's like blasphemy to say. I know everyone loves their movies, but honestly, I've watched a lot of their movies, a lot of movies that are considered to be some of the best movies ever made, and I really don't like them. Films like Fargo and Big Lebowski, I just do not get them. And Attack the Block was one of those where I saw the trailer and I was like, "Oh God, I can't watch an entire film with people talking like this." It reminded me of kidulthood, adulthood, all that stuff, and I sort of had the same fears when I saw the trailer for Kingsman originally. But thankfully, that film turned out awesome. But out of all the actors, um, John Boyega is probably the one I know the least about, and I would like to see Attack the Block just so I can know when I see Force Awakens just how good of an actor he is, going from two different roles. If I could stand the dialogue for most of that movie, I've heard a lot of people say it's great. I've heard a lot of people say it's fun. I think the plot is literally just aliens attack London, isn't it? And they like a group of them have to survive. So I think out of the two, I'm gonna pick Attack the Block for this week for Film Club.
Okay. I love that film. It's going to be funny doing.
Is it good?
I liked it. Yeah, I really liked it. And it's a nice little indie British film done by Joe Cornish, very good mates of Edgar Wright. Kind of ties into Hot Fuzz in a scary way.
Yeah. Oh, that'll be a good continuation then. And I'm actually kind of thankful we don't have that many people commenting just yet because I know that everyone just loves the Coen brothers and I've just basically slated all of their movies. So that I'll probably get some hate mail at some point from like a few stray comments. Also, just before I round off the show, I was sad enough to Google the name of that Jedi that gets shot by Jango Fett off the balcony. His name is Coleman Trebor. So, Cinema Savvy Movie Podcast, keeping it locked for all your nerdy Star Wars facts. But yeah, so rate, like, comment, subscribe, get involved. Did you go to Force Friday? What did you pick up? Did you pick up as much stuff as George did, or did you pick up even more? Who knows? So yeah, comment. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/cinemasavvy. We're on twitter.com/cinema_savvy. And you can find us at Letterboxd as well at cinema_savvy. So get involved with the channel. I think next week we're sort of out of this lull in movies coming out, and I believe we've got our Legend review with Tom Hardy. Really looking forward to that. It's been getting some great reviews so far, so I'll be checking that out at the weekend. So we're going to be getting into more regular reviews now. It's just we both expected this, but like towards the end of August and September, it's like just dead for movies. But now it'll be ramping up as we go into Oscar season as well as Star Wars coming out. And as you said earlier, our Star Wars month in December, so get the hype train rolling for that. We love talking Star Wars as well, so this was actually probably one of the funnest, movie podcasts I've done for our main show so far. So I'm really looking forward to December as well. But be sure to check back for Attack the Block and for our main show next week, which will be Legend. And until then, thanks for listening.